of sharing our HATO insights worldwide with people from the sector, with our partners, with dealers, to train them specifically to understand better on what is lighting and how we design dedicated lighting solutions to fulfill the needs of animals. Today we will specifically go about color lighting. So let's start, and hope that everything can enjoy this webinar. Just be aware that we will give a room at the end of the presentation for questions and answers. So if you have any comments, any question, doubt, please leave it in the chat. We will come back to you. Nikki is also here to assist me, so she can already give you some comments in there. As well, if you see any technical issue, let us know through the chat. Also, you have the control bar here in Zoom or upper from your screen or down, just check, and then you will find there the chat box, and also the icon CC, that is for the captions or subtitles, so you can hide them or show them. Depends on you, but when you get the captions in the screen, it does not allow you to see the images, graphs, or information that we share through the presentation. So, well, those were just technicalities. So here you see that we are on celebration. This is our year where we are celebrating our 50 years leading the livestock market in lighting solutions. Our tagline, improving life through brightness, is what the essence of HATO is. And that is because we bring this dedicated lighting solutions to improve for all animal well-being, but as well the well-being of the farmer. So we try to fulfill the needs of each farm, because each farm has their own challenges that it needs to overcome and bring this into benefits. So we bring this knowledge. So it's not only about lighting, this brightness about lighting, but the knowledge behind these lighting solutions. And we have been in the sector already for 50 years with the most experience on poultry. But as you see, we have been growing in different sectors, like in dairy sector for swines, but also in other kind of live farming, like dogs, goats, horses, etc. So any question you might have on a livestock farm, don't hesitate to contact us. We are there for you. We are we keep always on investigating, on having a close relationship with other suppliers of part of the equipment to consolidate the best lighting solutions to build the optimal light climate in the house. Okay, so we will start with a poll. Let's see.
So the first poll is our question to you. What is color lighting? Is it A, it measures in Kelvin degrees? B, it is a range. Sorry, I cannot read it anymore. Yeah, okay. It is a range of wavelengths. Or C, it is a color ambience of the light emitted. You can now answer. Yeah, there's a pop-up in your screen, and you can answer us.
It's just a single choice. Nothing is wrong or bad here. We are all to learn, so don't hesitate to leave there your answer. Your participation is also important for us to know how is the audience so far with the knowledge of color lighting. Okay, so I see majority has answered. I will end the poll by now and then share the results. So there you see that majority answer option B. It is a range of wavelengths. It is not all wrong. It's a bit related, but that is more specifically for the lighter spectrum. I will explain later with some graphs so it is more clear for you. So the right answer would be the C, which is the color ambience of the light emitted. But it is indeed related to the light spectrum, V, and the A, that would be the correlated color temperature. That is something that you measure in Kelvin degrees, and that would be the CCT. So that we saw the last webinar. Okay, so let's go back. I will show you the graph of what is light. So the majority answer on the option B. It is a visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So yes, indeed, color vision. But here it is to set up what it is monochromatic light and polychromatic light. In polychromatic light, we see here on the capture of the solar spectrum, we see a range of wavelengths that we see in the visible light as we perceive the white light as daylight. It is between the ultraviolet rays and the infrared rays, but the solar spectrum is wide enough. It covers it all, and every wavelength is what we would say that is a specific color, and that would be like monochromatic colored light. Because what we want to simulate in a livestock farm is daylight. As you have entry of daylight or not, you need as well artificial lighting to support or to create an optimal light cloud. Sometimes it's not enough with daylight, or we are not getting enough light intensity, or to along the photo period, the hours of light. And also we will understand here when to use a polychromatic light would be the white light and the different colors in the white light, but as well the added value on using monochromatic light. So on the specific color in that spectrum of lights, you see? So the shorter wavelengths are more into the blue-green part of the spectrum, and the wider wavelengths are more into the yellow, orange, reds, and infrared spectrum. Those are measured in nanometers, so each wavelength, each color. And the white light, so the range of wavelengths, will be measured in CCT, in Kelvin degrees. All right, so now we also need to put in perspective, how do animals perceive light? So we see the solar spectrum is quite broad. We see that the human perception of that light spectrum is more narrow. So it goes here from the blue, higher peak on the green, yellow, and less on the orange and red. If we compare that perception on how poultry perceives that light spectrum, we see that in poultry is very wide, even wider than if we compare with other species, big perception in cattle perception. So that really differs per species. And that is the physiognomy of the animal and of the eye itself. So we here see that the poultry perception goes from the ultraviolet until the infrared. So they have 4 cones, meaning that they see more colors than we do or that other species does. So the human eyes is between the 400 until the 700 nanometers, so that you have an idea where it goes. So we see, for instance, here in pigs, they have 2 cones more in the blue and green, so that they would see better under a light spectrum that has more blue and green of the part of the color of the light. And the cattle is a bit similar to pig. They also have a bit sensitivity into the red side. So they do not see reds, but still the red can stimulate the biorhythm of the animals. In poultry, it is more sensitive. So poultry is the sector that is more sensitive to light animals. So we'll see which color will adapt and how they influence on behavior to get more benefits and even profits in the farm, depending on the type of animal and type of house. So we see here the CCT that we also explained in the first webinar. So the usage of different light temperatures, which is measured in Kelvin degrees. We have here the warm white, so being the long wavelengths, as we saw in the graphic, focus on the red part of the spectrum, and in the sector, we are talking about supplementary or artificial lights below the 3000 or up to the 3000 Kelvin. With a cool white, this is a focus on the blue-green part of the spectrum with lights that are between the 4000 up to the 5000 Kelvin degrees or even higher. So a higher CCT means that you have more blue lights in that white lights. So you still have part of the other colors, but the more present is the blue-green part of the spectrum. And contrary, the lower CCT means more red light, and that would be more red part in that white light. So we can compare also in the daylight how that would be. Sunrise and sunset, it is a more warm white light. Along the day, midday sunlight, a cloudy sky or a blue sky is more blue in it. So there you could also have a lighting solution that can simulate daylight when you are able to mix white, warm white with blue light to, or cool white, sorry, to go through the day to stimulate a more natural behavior to your animals. Here we have another poll.
What is the color rendering index, also known as the CRI? A, is it the color quality of artificial forms of lighting? B, is it a combination of all the colors of the visible spectrum? Or C, it measures the ability of a light source to accurately reproduce the colors of the objects it illuminates.
Here's also single choice. You select the option you think is, so it's more of what you understand better on color rendering index or CRI. Okay, people keep answering. All right. Okay, so I will now end the poll. See, majority has answered. And share results. We see here that majority choose option C, which is correct. The option A is a bit similar, more easier to say, but the exact definition is C. So it measures the ability of light source to accurately reproduce the colors of the object it illuminates. I have here some graphics and images so you can better understand what this definition means. And B said the combination of all the colors of the visible spectrum is more the light spectrum. So as we explained in the previous graphic. Okay, so let's go back. We go to the images of what CRI is. So the higher the CRI goes, the better the sight. So we can compare with those images in here. So artificial lighting that has 60 points, let's put it in that way, is giving you not such a clear view of the colors, because the closer it goes to 100 is the closer that the color presentation comes of what you will have it on under the sunlight, so outside in nature. The good CRI would be as from 80, you see there that the colors come more representative, so that these wattles and combos, we know that these are reds, but here you see this a bit more pink, it comes a bit more orange, a bit more of the red. And if you would have an excellent CRI, so a 90 or above, you see that the colors are very clear, very needed. So an optimal CRI in livestock farms for each sector would be above 80, means that the color representation comes better out of that artificial light. So it is very important that you have a look in the technical details of the solutions that you are buying and you are having in the farm if the CRI is correct, so that this color will really be seen by your animals, especially in poultry, which are more sensitive, that you will see that influences in their animal behavior, because improves their color vision, improves their well-being, and you will see a change in performances. So here we can explain better what this CRI means and why it matters. So the CRI measures and compares the reflected color of an object under artificial lighting. So under the sunlight, we can imagine that we are having during the day 5,000 Kelvin degrees. And we see the full light spectrum of the sun reflecting on an object. In this case, we take an apple that we know it is a red color. And because you have a full and wide light spectrum, you can really see the red color of that apple, because having that red color is the color that will be reflected. Okay, and the artificial white light under LEDs, if it would be a standard LED with 5,000 Kelvin degrees, the CRI not be so optimum, having a low CRI, maybe 60 or 70, then even that the apple is red, it will not really absorb that red, because it is not in that CRI, it is not being enough of not being present at all in that spectrum. And then you don't see that red color of the apple. Then it will become more into an orange color. When you have a very high CRI, which in livestock will be above 80, it is already good enough. Then under an artificial white light with high quality LEDs on the same CCT, 5,000 Kelvin degrees, the light spectrum, then the colors that compose that CRI, which are the first 8 primary colors, having sufficient of the red color, which most of the time is the one that is missing in there, not having enough of it. And it is very important in the growth of your animals, especially in poultry. Then that being present there, it will be really absorbed by the object and reflect that red color, and then we'll be appreciating that red color. So the same light color can have a different spectral composition, and that also the CRI plays an important role in here. That you can measure with a specific light meter. Some of you already know the HATO one. That's the unique unit that can measure all these key aspects of light, because you can have a spectrometer, but we have also explained other times about flicker. You cannot measure that, or maybe it's not measuring the CRI. So with that unit, you really can measure the CCT, color temperature, the CRI, color rendering index, and the spectrum, which are related to know the specific color of your light, and if that is really the optimum in your livestock, and if you are really improving the vision of your animals. You see, you can have the same LED. In this case, we are having a cool white that includes also red color in that lamp, and other lamp that is LED called RGB, having only red, green, and blue. And there you miss as well the yellow-orange part of the spectrum, which is also important in the general growth of your animals. Here in a LED, you have a broader light spectra, yes, with a higher peak in reds. But then you see that variations can be on the spectrum composition, but also on CRI. Here we are having 80.5 points of CRI, while the CRI here even shows like 0, meaning that here we are missing certain colors, and in this case here, that really gives you a wide light spectra. And even having the red in there is not being optimum for specific applications. So with the CIE is also this cross that comes in this curve that will tell you that is really into a white light. And this one is more away from a white light. It's more having certain colors according to the average, but here we might not be improving animal vision. So it is how all these aspects of light are correlated to each other and will differ per species how they perceive that light spectra, and therefore we need to understand that to know what are really the needs of our animals and how can we apply the best lighting solutions and give the best light climate. And that's to improve their well-being, to improve their vision, to have a change in their behavior. We can also manage a more desired behavior and then get even profits in the farm. Here we will talk a bit about color lighting in poultry. Knowing that they have higher sensitivity comparison with other animals, we have with more lighting solutions in the sector, mixing different colors, because under research is not only what HATO says, is really what has been done in the sector, and independent investigations with universities, with scientifics, working together with people from the sector, doing tests, following specific projects, and so on, is how we gain this knowledge. And then we see the added value on applying different colors and different applications. So with a cool white, which is focused on the green-blue part of the spectrum, we see that helps to improve growth during greening period, because that those colors activates the birds more and is what reinforces muscles and bones. And that is what increases that activity. And that can well lead to an unwanted behavior. So always keep a look on your flock, how they are behaving, and you can always be able to adapt the lighting according how is the behavior of the flock. So therefore, we advise to use it cool white on rearing applications, but also on broilers that are less than the 2 kilos. On heavy broilers, because that might increase unwanted behavior or agitation that can lead to broken wings or marks, etc. So therefore, we advise a warm white solution, but is less or up to 3000 Kelvin degrees. Because keep the birds calmer. So the warm white is well preferred by hens for sure. That red spectrum attracts them, and the animals keeps calmer on this under this color of light. That reduces activity, decreases that unwanted behavior. The red part is what helps to improve sexual stimulation and egg-laying performances, and therefore we recommend to have it in laying hens or parent stock houses, and the broiler above the 2 kilos. Now, as an added value on monochromatic lighting, so a specific light color, you can measure on nanometers. On the reds, for instance, what we use in our lighting solution is the 620 nanometers. That mixed with white, with a warm white light or LEDs. You know that LEDs is the nowadays technology used in livestock farms, because with LEDs you have more dynamism. You can have different designs of lamps, and there you can mix different colors due to the miniaturization of the LEDs. You can switch to different colors. You can create your own designs, and that also to optimize the light distribution according to the type of house where you need to have the right light intensity to stimulate a feed intake, to stimulate a more natural behavior, just to have the correct light intensities. And that you can create with LEDs compared with other lamps like fluorescents, that some also others cannot be dim or regulate the light intensity and so on. So therefore, with the LEDs, you can mix that white color with other monochromatic color, in this case the reds, to reduce feather pecking and to stimulate egg production, but always having the white for the full production cycle. So use the red only to create that stimulation or to avoid that problem. For instance, cannibalism, where you can go monochromatically to reds and take out the problem and then go back to the white light, having more part of the red in it. Now, the blue light we have seen in poultry that makes the birds sit still. So we advise to use during vaccinations or catching before slaughter. We will see a video here so you can see really how is this differentiation, having the broilers under white light and a blue light. And the other that is becoming very important, and it is every time more research on it, is using the UVA factor in the lamp when you have a wide spectrum, so the white light, but having the UVA in there to improve bird vision, because we saw that they have this fourth cone that they can see under UVA, and that is like putting extra glasses to the flock, and they will see better. They are even able to recognize feather pattern. And we know that is unique in poultry. I'll show you later on some research about that. About the feather pecking and layer rearing, we have done also internal research with two isolated groups, small groups, where they were having a lot of issues with feather pecking. So we put it as FP abbreviation, and cannibalism. So with one group, they were using regular lighting, and where they were able to switch from white light to red color as switching. So, or you have white or you have red only, not able to mix. And with this kind of lighting, the feather pecking occurred at day 17, and then it was switched to red to decrease that problem, certainly because they were having cannibalism at day 34. What cannibalism, it really helps when it goes monochromatically, because all ambience becomes red, and that is what camouflages the red spots of blood. And so at a certain moment, they won't see it anymore, the birds, and they will stop pecking. But what you want is to decrease that initial problem with pecking. So not go and end on cannibalism, but reduce that issue. So when you have a light and you are able to mix red with white, so when you have your white light, warm white, and you are mixing it, putting it more red into it, then they saw a really a decrease on feather pecking. So this start to occur on day 35. And when mixing these two colors until day 54, so they were already mixing it so prevently to reduce that problem. And then lights turned off the white light and only leave the red light on to decrease cannibalism. But that was as from day 54. So meaning that the non-feather pecking period was extended with 18 days by mixing in red light prevently. And besides that, you can stimulate egg production as well. So it has more benefits into it. Here, Nikki will show you some videos.
Here we have a video of a system where we have put perch light, main light, and light inside the system and underneath the system. Inside and underneath the system, we use our bubo lighting. Those are tube lights. And in the main lighting, we use our borax, and you can mix that, in this case, with red. As Cristabel just explained, that is very good to do when you have feather pecking or cannibalism, but also for sexual maturity and sexual stimulation. The next video we have is a mix with, not a mix, sorry, a switch to blue. And here you can see the difference when catching. Here the birds run away, and you can see them flying away, which means stress for them. Now we switch it to blue. And here you can see that the birds will sit still and not react to the woman who picks them up. So you can see that there's a big difference in behavioral change when you use the blue lighting for catching or vaccinating. The third video I want to show you is the video of our Corax DDS, the dynamic daylight spectrum. And here we have different CCTs. You start with, is it already working?
Yeah, it's already going.
We start here with a low CCT in the warm white, and then we change it to cold white. So these are different LEDs in the same light. We also have UVA in it. But as you know that Christabel explained it to you, UVA is something that only poultry and a lot of birds, but in this case we are talking about poultry. A lot of poultry can see UV and can perceive UV, but as we do not see it, we can show you the video, but you couldn't see it because we cannot perceive UV. So here on the right side of the screen, you see the difference in lights with and without UV. We have the warm white. You see a higher peak in the red-orange part and a lower peak in the blue part. And with the cool white, you see a higher peak in the blue compared to the peak in the orange. And underneath you see the spectrum with UVA. So the UV is always on in that light. So there is no chance of you cannot singularly put UV on. It's always in combination with either cold white or warm white. But you can use the whole CCT from 2500 Kelvin to 6700 Kelvin. So you can do everything within that range. You can show that to the birds, and they will be better then. And Christabel will explain that in the next.
Yes, we have a very interesting research done here with the UVA factor included in that LED lamp, providing a wide light spectrum, simulating more sunlight with a warm white and cool white. But important thing is having the UVA, because there were also other group, also small group, having LED with also a wider spectrum of light, but not including the UVA factor. And we see here the influence in hen development and performance. So this was a laying hens, where we see already in the pre-laying a growth in developments. We see the increased bird development with more red gums and wattles. So we see with non-UVA light and the same life stage, so 14 weeks up to 19 weeks, compared with a UVA group, they have here more reds and growth, more the wattles and gumbles. The egg production also started earlier. We see that the quality of the floor was a better litter quality. It was cleaner, less messy, because it was less spilled feed, because they could see better. We improved their vision. They could detect the grains on the floor and picked from there. They also stimulate a more natural behavior, so scratching and then also picking at the feed spilled. So it was therefore a better litter in there. It has also a laying persistency. So during the laying period, almost never missed an egg per day. We'll see later results. And on behavior, they also had a more group behavior. So not in the way of piling, but more like being at ease, feeling good, going around. They could identify better within each other. So they like to go and eat at the same time and drink at the same time, foraging, sleeping in groups. So it's also more socialization in their behavior. About the results, we see in laying percentage in the group of non-UVA, it was an 88.6%, and with the UVA group was certainly an increase going up to 98.7%. So they almost never missed an egg per day. Total egg production was 297 eggs in the non-UVA group, and with UVA they achieved 345 eggs, so 48 more eggs, an increase of 16%. They have a more uniform egg size, so 4 different gradings were shown in the non-UVA group, and all size grade M medium with UVA. So you see really a difference in behavior just by improving the color vision, and with that their well-being, they feel more at ease, less stress, and therefore they get better performances. Then you can translate those in productivity. It is all about fulfilling the needs of the animals and providing the correct light climate. Now about color lighting in pigs. So here is also the usage of different colors of light. So we always talk first on the white light, so the broad spectrum of light that you can get from an LED, from a standard to a specialized dedicated LED solutions. But remember that you need to have a good quality of LEDs, quality of the lamps itself, so that really provides the right light distribution, light intensity, and the right color. As you saw, you can measure all these aspects of light. Here in the for pigs, you know the way of that they perceive that light spectra with these 2 cones, so that they could see better under blue-green part of the spectrum or under these 2 monochromatic lights. We see also an added value. So for all, we adjust the color light to pig vision. So the recommended would be cool white, 5,000 Kelvin degrees. And with that, we see improvement in behavioral responses, socialization, decreased animal stress, and that will be reflected in the different life stages of the production cycle in swines. Under HATO Research, this is still ongoing for, let's put it, innovations, what is happening in the big sector. For sure, having a cool white light already has an improvement in their behavior and their well-being. Besides that, you can add monochromatic lights, so not mixing, but having a separate lamps, or well, if one is able to switch to that color, it would be possible, like we saw in poultry. In pigs, also having the blue light calms swine, reducing that stress. So it is recommended to have it in the waiting room before slaughter, because keeps pigs relax and more at ease, not with that agitation, and that has certainly an influence in meat quality. The green light is also other kind of light that has been tested in farms in the Netherlands, using it in the corridors or as ale lightings in the rooms that goes to the slaughter area. So guiding them calmly to that area. They walk by themselves, even on different lighting densities, from low to high lighting densities, under green light, monochromatic light. So you have in the other area when they are resting the cool white, and just having those lights in green, and will help you to bring them calmly walking to that room, because they have also compared having only white light is more difficult to bring them, or they are more stressed. And again, that also helps to have a better meat quality and not liberating these hormones of stress that affects the composition of the meat, and also gets less weight of that. So it is important to create an optimal light climate where it should be, to know what are your needs, and there you can translate those in a better productivity. Color lighting in cattle. Here again, as adjust the color of the light to cattle vision. We saw is similar to pigs. Have these two cones on the blue part and green part of the spectrum, where they can have a better vision. And here, the cool white solution, what we recommend for cattle and veal and cows would be 4,000 Kelvin degrees. So a cool white LED light will look like this, and with a higher peak here in the blue. And in dairy cattle, we recommend even a more cool white, or cold white is even named so in the sector, that reach up to 10,000 Kelvin degrees. That is having always the white lights, but with more blue in it. So you are mixing more blue monochromatic light in that white. In this case, we are mixing it with that to create the maximum possible of a broad light spectrum with more blue in it, because it has been also proven with a done test in research that can increase milk production with more presence of blue in a cool white solution. This case, we have done a research for 2 years in a farm in the Netherlands. There have been also other tests run in China, for instance, with this same solution, the Rudax, that has this cool white spectrum, adding the blue light. And it was under other parameters, the milk production increase, what was compared. So we see that in the before situation, this was the farm, and we're having sodium lighting, and with a lighting density of 50 lux on average in the resting area and 70 lux in the feeding area. That is always where we want to measure the lighting density on the feeding area to stimulate feeding day. But we'll see that here were a lot of, let's say, less lighting density, really low lux levels. We were talking about that in the previous webinar in animal vision, how lighting densities also plays a very important role in the stimulation of their performances. So it is not only to think about lighting to have the house lit, but really having the right lighting densities, and that light intensity comes into the right area or correct area of the house, what you want to stimulate. And certainly to improve vision. So it's all these key aspects to really build an optimal light climate. So we'll see, just keep in mind what it was the before situation, the CRI also only 75, with a color temperature of 5,300 Kelvin degrees, also cool white. And well, the lights didn't have sensors, so you were not able to dim the lights to regulate light intensities. And also they were on 24 hours a day, 7 days per week. When we look into animal welfare, it is almost mandatory that they should have a dark period. Well, depends on the different sectors and at different stages. Yeah, sometimes you need that high light stimulus, depending what you want to reach on the productivity. But for the full production cycle, just to regulate the day-night rhythm, they need a dark period, and that also helps to stimulate their biorhythm, to stimulate their immunity, to, in this case, with cows also regulates the melatonin, which also would help on the productivity, and all this just to increase the health of your animals and well-being. And you will see a change in behavior. So in the after situation, increased milk yields, There it was changed those sodium lights into the Rurax LED lights. Here were used 39 lights. They achieved an average light intensity of 180 lux, a big difference if you compare in the resting area having 50 lux only. And then in the feeding area, 120 lux compared with the 70 lux in average before. So higher light intensities. You again increase their vision, their well-being. They are stimulating more. The right light is really stimulating their metabolism. Then the CRI of the lamps is 83. And the average color temperature is 4,600 Kelvin degrees, so more cool white. And you are also adding more blue into it, so mixing it to achieve a higher cool white. Then a light sensor was added that to regulate the light intensity. And with this kind of lamps, you can dim from 100 to 0%. Then we also give an advice on the light program to be used, and it was in total 18 hours of light, with those being 11 hours of daylight, so simulating daylight, white light, then 5 hours mixing the blue with white, plus the 2 hours on monochromatic blue, and then having the 6 hours on dark period, so no lights. Of course, it was an issue if the cows will go, they were having a milk robot in here, will go to the milk robot during the dark period. But it happens. And that is because they are more aware of this biorhythm, their day-night cycle. And when they have the need, they just go. But it's more a more natural stimulation, having just the right light program in the house. Now we see the results was that an increase in daily milk production per cow from 1.2 kilograms to 2.3 kilograms, meaning from 3.5 to 7% increase. That with a milk price of 48.14 euros per 100 kilograms on milk on average. There is a white paper that I will share with you after the webinar. You all will get a follow-up email with some resources, and between there are the white papers from poultry and from cattle with more specific graphs and the follow-up of the research as well. There you will see the lactation graphs from the first up to the others, that was always an increase in milk production. Also, you will see the milk composition because it was important. But just that translated in numbers, increased in profits. It was also from 14,000 and 28,000 euros per the 305 days production. Besides that, those numbers, it was certainly an improved in cow behavior. So cows come to the milking robot even with the lights off, as I was saying. The cows lay down better and in the boxes, so not in other places. Well, was an issue that it was having in the before situation. More daytime calf deliveries as well, because this regulation on the day-night rhythm, it comes more in other ways also benefit. And of course, the practical benefits that increase workflow for the farming, like this daytime calf deliveries, the way that the cows are laying, the simulation of feed intake, and of course, just the optimal light climate created in the house. It's easier for the farmer to have a good management of the farm and to keep checking the animals as well. So this all the multiple ways that you can increase in productivity and by creating the optimal light climate can see on different results.
For to get all these results that Christabel has spoke about, we have different light solutions, and for each light solutions for each situation that you have in your farm, we have a proper solution for it. I would like to invite you to send us an email if you wish for a light plan. We make light plans for free. So if you want to see what our lights could mean for your house, then please send us an email. If you go to the QR code, you get to our website and you can search for the contact form or send us an email to Christabel or to me. She has emails in the end, I think.
Yes.
So for each solution, we have something. So you can contact us to see what your solution would be.
Exactly. Thank you, Nikki. We will see just to end the webinar. I hope you have leaving already your questions, comments. I see that we don't have that much time anymore. We will try to read those questions if you still have some time. Please stay. If not, we will all answer or contact you afterwards by email. And as said, you all will get this follow-up email after the webinar with a survey knowing your feedback about this webinar or other topics that you would like to know about that is related to lighting for livestock, and also to contact us for further requests. There you get resources, also what we have talked around along the presentation. This is just a general conclusion, as always ends on every webinar. Done about creating the optimal light climate in livestock farms is by fulfilling the needs of animals. When you choose for the right high quality lighting and dedicated solutions for your farm, you will stimulate the natural and desired behavior in the house, and you can also have those benefits in operations. In that you will see the better results in multiple ways. So in adapting that light climate according to the physiological way that influences the behavior and performance of the animals, just by improving sight, you will improve their well-being, and you will see better results of the farm. And besides also reduce costs, you see an increase in productivity, in profitability, but also saving costs on energy, on spare parts if you get lamps of long lifetime, the quality, to prevent also this fire hazards, the different peak voltage that you can have on your region, waterproof, and so on. That is all what matters on a lighting solution. So before it was only seen of what the technical part of the lamp will provide you, and that the house is lit, but you have to learn and understand what are those key aspects that builds really the optimal light climate and that will fulfill the needs of your animals. So that is an